The time is 1973. In the dense Peruvian jungle, we see a research team led by a woman named Constance Webb. Despite being pregnant, Constance had come here in search of a rare species of spider. According to her research, this spider's venom was nothing short of magical for humans. It could not only cure incurable diseases, but also had the potential to make a person incredibly powerful. Constance wanted to use this spider's venom to find a cure for diseases that were considered untreatable. She tells her teammate Sims that it is believed people used to live in these Peruvian jungles who possessed strength 100 times greater than normal humans. Their speed and other superpowers were beyond imagination, and all of it was gifted to them by these spiders. Sims, however, didn't believe any of it. He thought it was nonsense, so he left the pregnant Constance alone in the jungle and returned to the camp. But there, he finds Constance's research notes. As he reads through them, the information makes it clear to him that Constance was telling the truth. He quickly takes photos of her notes. Just as he's about to head back after discovering the truth, a joyful voice is heard. Constance calls out, excited, because she had finally found the spider she had been looking for. She was thrilled, showing the spider to her team members. But suddenly, Sims appears from behind and shoots 2 team members dead. Constance is shocked, unable to understand why Sims would do such a thing. Sims then steps forward and says, "Hand over the spider nicely. It belongs to me now, and only I will use it." He tries to snatch the container with the spider from Constance. In the struggle, Sims's gun goes off and Constance is shot. Despite knowing she is both wounded and pregnant, this selfish man takes the spider and leaves her to die in the jungle. Constance was on the brink of death, but just then, the members of the same tribe she had once told Sims about appear. They carry her to a sacred cave pool, hoping to save her by letting a spider bite her and heal her with its venom. However, her condition worsens. It was time for her to give birth. In that moment, she gives birth to a baby girl, and the tribe names her Casey. After Casey's birth, Constance's condition deteriorates further. The tribe's leader, who was treating her, makes a promise. Whenever this girl returns seeking answers, he will be waiting for her. The scene shifts to the present, 30 years later. Casey is now grown up and works as a paramedic. Responding to emergencies is her job. Her colleague in the emergency van is Ben, who invites her to his brother and sister-in-law's baby shower, and Casey agrees. After her shift ends, Casey returns home. Like every other day, she pulls out her mother's old suitcase from under her bed and begins going through her belongings, research notes and all. As she's looking through them, she receives an emergency call from Ben. A serious accident had occurred near a bridge. A car was hanging precariously off the edge, with a man trapped inside. Casey enters the car and, with Ben's help, saves the man, but unfortunately, she ends up getting locked inside the vehicle. As the car loses balance, it plunges into the river. As Casey sinks underwater, her eyes open to a surreal vision, glowing, web-like threads all around her. These were the web of life. The web of life shows her glimpses of the future, moments that were yet to come. Just as she begins to process this, she suddenly wakes up above the water. Ben had rescued her. He tells her she was underwater for 3 minutes. Casey checks the man's vitals and notices something strange. His oxygen level suddenly jumps from 79 to 89. The same thing happens again with another patient. She asks Ben, "Didn't you just check my oxygen levels too?" But Ben has no idea what she's talking about. The scenes she saw weren't hallucinations. Casey had witnessed them in her mind just moments before they actually occurred. Now the scene cuts to Sims. He has become a very wealthy man. One night, he brings home a woman who works for a security agency. After spending time together, they fall asleep. During his sleep, Sims has a terrifying dream. 3 girls in spider suits attack him, demanding the spider, and then they kill him. He wakes up in fear. The truth is, Sims still has the original spider. He had once allowed it to bite him, and since then, he too had gained the ability to see the future. Every night, Sims dreams of how 3 girls will one day come and kill him. Determined to prevent this, he plans to eliminate them before that day comes. The woman he brought home works in a security firm, and Sims tricks her into revealing the code for their new facial recognition software, a program that could identify any person through cameras. Once he has the code, Sims injects a special venom into her and kills her. Now we see Casey at her sister's house, attending the baby shower. Everyone is guessing the baby's gender, and one girl says, "Let's guess what it is." Casey replies, "We've already done that." Her words surprise everyone. Once again, Casey has seen a moment before it happens. Before she can process it, Ben calls her for another emergency. When she arrives, she finds out that one of her coworkers has been in an accident. While trying to save him, she suddenly sees a vision of that same coworker walking toward a truck. She tries to stop him, but he climbs into the truck anyway. Moments later, the truck crashes and he dies, exactly as Casey had seen in her vision. This incident confirms to her that she's not hallucinating. She truly is seeing the future. Meanwhile, Sims, with the help of a hacker, has hacked into the facial recognition software. Now he has access to every surveillance camera in New York. Through this system, he identifies the faces of the 3 girls who visit him in his nightmares. Based on their age, Sims realizes that the girls are still young and have not yet fully awakened their powers. His plan is to kill them while they are still weak, before they become a threat. At her home, Casey is deeply upset about her coworker's death. As she heats up food in the oven, she sees a pigeon fly into her window and die. Startled, she turns toward the oven, but when she looks back at the window, there's no dead pigeon and the window is intact. She walks up to the window and opens it, just in time to see a pigeon fly by and perch peacefully. By opening the window, she had saved the bird's life. This moment makes Casey realize that the future she sees isn't fixed, she can change it. Feeling guilty that she could have prevented her colleague's death too, she decides to tell Ben everything. She heads to the subway station, unaware that Sims is already there. His hacker has informed him that the 3 girls he wants to kill are currently at that very metro station. There was a woman sitting in the train compartment with the 3 girls. The moment she looked at their faces, she saw their deaths. The man who was killing them in someone's vision, Sims, she saw him too, coming from the opposite apartment into this train compartment. She quickly lifted the girls up and got them off the train. As soon as they stepped outside, the girls couldn't understand what was happening. The woman saw Sims inside the train, watching the 3 girls intently. Casey, the woman, told the girls that they must leave the station immediately. But they didn't listen to her and began making noise to draw people's attention. Before anyone could arrive, we see a man in a Spider-Man-like suit approaching them quickly. The man was heading straight for them, so Casey rushed the girls into another train compartment. Now, that man had reached the roof of the train as well. To save them, Casey took the girls out of the train and brought them to the ground floor. But she knew the man was still after them. As they were about to leave the metro station, police officers caught Casey. At the same moment, Sims, wearing the spider-like suit, also appeared to attack the girls. While the police were trying to stop Sims, Casey took advantage of the situation and escaped the station with the girls to save their lives. Once outside, Casey stole a taxi so they could get far away from Sims. Although they had escaped Sims for now, the danger was not entirely gone, and they didn't yet know that. Casey asked the girls their names, and during their conversation, she learned that none of the girls' parents were in the city. While they were talking, a news report playing on the radio caught their attention. It was announcing that the woman who kidnapped the 3 girls had been identified as Casey Webb. That meant not only Sims, but now the police were also after them. To escape the entire situation, Casey took the 3 girls deep into the jungles of Peru. Since there were no cameras in the jungle, Sims' hacker couldn't track them, nor could the police trace Casey's location. Once in the jungle, during a conversation, the girls discovered that all of them had met someone at some point. Suddenly, the 3 started asking Casey questions and even tried to attack her, demanding why she had brought them here. Casey then told them that she could see the future and had already seen their deaths in it. After hearing this, a girl named Maddie laughed, but everyone ignored her. Julia then said that the man was climbing the walls like a spider. This one sentence sparked something in Casey's mind. She began recalling things written in her mother's notes. She told the girls she would be back in 3 hours and asked them not to move from there. She quickly went home and opened her mother's notes. In that diary, there were details about a spider tribe we had already seen in the past. These people could not only climb walls and ceilings, but also had the power to see the future. Since Casey could also see the future, she wondered if she might also be part of the spider tribe. She tried climbing a wall to test it, but failed. Inside the suitcase, she found a photo of Sims with her mother, and she recognized him as the same man trying to kill the girls. Meanwhile, the 3 girls resting in the jungle were starving. So they stepped out and found a nearby cafe. But as soon as they entered city range, Sims' hacker picked up their location. Casey, who had just returned to the jungle with a car, saw that the girls were gone. Following their footprints, she reached the cafe and found the 3 girls dancing there. As soon as they saw her, the girls apologized. But before Casey could get them out, Sims arrived at the cafe in his spider suit. One by one, he slashed the girls' throats, killing them. Then he grabbed Casey's throat too. But just before Casey died, everything suddenly disappeared. She found herself still standing in the jungle. That's when she realized that everything she saw was from the future. The girls were still in danger, and now it was Casey's responsibility to save them. She followed their footprints and reached the cafe. Unfortunately, Sims had already arrived before her. To save the girls, Casey broke into the hotel through the rooftop with her car and hit Sims with full force. She signaled the girls to get in the car. Just as Casey was about to drive off with them, Sims grabbed her hand and injected poison into her body. Despite this, Casey escaped with the girls. Meanwhile, Sims' hacker informed him that the woman helping the 3 girls, Casey Webb, was actually the daughter of Constance Webb. This revelation shook Sims completely. For now, Casey had taken the girls to a hotel. But since none of their parents were around, she couldn't take full responsibility for them. So she decided to hand them over to the police. But there was a problem. Anya was living in New York illegally. Her father had already been reported by the government, and if the police found out that Anya was here, she would be deported too. Left with no other choice, Casey allowed the girls to stay at the hotel and left after they fell asleep. She went back to the same cafe where Sims had attacked her. As soon as she arrived, Sims also reached there by tracing her location. Sims then told Casey who he was and said, "My name is Sims. I want to kill those 3 girls because, in the future, they will have superpowers. And once they have those powers, they'll kill me. I just want to kill them before that happens to save myself." Just as he finished speaking, Casey suddenly woke up. It turns out, she had seen all of this in a dream too. She had never gone to the hotel. She was still sleeping with the 3 girls in the same bed. The next morning, Casey told them everything about Sims and explained why he was after them. She said, "You 3 must stay together always. As long as you're together, you'll stay safe. That man is strange. He can inject poison just with his touch. As long as he keeps holding on to any part of your body, he'll keep injecting his venom into you. The moment the venom enters your body, your heartbeat will begin to slow down. And if such a situation ever arises, the 3 of you can still save each other by performing CPR." That's why Cassie first teaches them how to give CPR. Along with CPR, she had already trained them in several other survival techniques for tough times. Cassie was preparing them to face the Sims. Now she tells the 3 girls that all the powers Sims possess are written about in her mom's research diary. To learn more about the Sims, she needs to go to the forests of Perron. She tells them to take care of themselves and stay together in her absence, and then she leaves. Taking her mom's belongings and a map of the forests of Perron, she reaches deep into the forest where she meets the leader of the spider tribe. Seeing her, he says, "So you've finally come seeking answers to your questions." The leader takes her to the pond where Cassie was born and where her mom, Constance, died. Seeing the place, Cassie looked visibly upset. She tells the leader that she doesn't understand why her mom risked her life to come to this place. The leader smiles and says, "To know the full story, you'll have to go back to the time when you were born. Your story started even before you were born." The leader suddenly jolts her, pulling her soul out of her body. Cassie's unconscious body falls into the pond, and her soul enters the web of life. The web of life takes her to the time when her mother Constance had come to the jungle searching for the spider. In a single flash, the web of life shows Cassie everything. Constance finding the spider, getting shot, Cassie's birth, and Constance's death. Cassie still doesn't fully understand her story, so the web of life takes her even further back, to the time when Constance visited a doctor. There, the doctor tells Constance that even before Cassie was born, she had a condition for which there was no cure in the world. It was possible that Cassie could die right after birth, and at most, she might survive for only 6 months. This news deeply disturbed Constance. After seeing this truth, Cassie breaks down in tears because she finally understands why her mom had gone into the jungle just before her birth, risking her life. Until now, Cassie had been angry with her mom Constance, thinking she had endangered Cassie's life for the sake of her own passion, but that wasn't the case. While she's still processing this, her soul suddenly returns to her body. Still in shock, Cassie asks the leader how he did all of that, but the leader replies, "I didn't do anything. It was your own powers that made it happen, the powers that you're only now beginning to realize." Cassie says, "But I only have the power to see the future." The leader tells her, "No, seeing the future is just the beginning of your powers. You can do much more. Through the web of life, you can be in 3 places at once and save 3 lives simultaneously. Not only that, you also have the power to change the future, and such power is given to very few." The leader adds that all of Cassie's powers will fully emerge only when she faces dire situations. Meanwhile, the Sims have now moved into the city. The 4 of them are extremely angry because they still haven't been able to find out anything about the 3 girls. They discover that before leaving, Cassie had dropped the 3 girls off at Ben's house. The girls, still following Cassie's instructions, hadn't left Ben's house. But today, Ben's brother's wife was about to give birth. Her condition was worsening rapidly, and there wasn't time to wait for help. So, the 3 girls decided to take her to the hospital themselves. As soon as they stepped outside and appeared on surveillance cameras, their location was revealed to the Sims. By the time Cassie returned to Ben's house to get the girls, no one was there. She finds out nearby that the 3 had taken Ben's sister-in-law to the hospital. On their way, the Sims had already attacked them. To save them, Cassie rushes toward them in an ambulance. Meanwhile, we see that the Sims hacker has turned all the traffic signals green on the road the girls are on, making a major accident almost inevitable. The girls narrowly escape a terrible crash and see that Sims is standing outside the vehicle with a bomb in his hand. Yes, he intended to kill them using the bomb. But just before he could throw it and destroy their car, Cassie arrives just in time and hits him with her ambulance. The bomb in his hand flies out and lands under another vehicle, where it explodes safely. Taking advantage of the situation, Cassie quickly gets the 3 girls into the ambulance with her, while instructing Man to take her sister-in-law to the hospital. Sims had already seen the girls running toward the ambulance, so he climbs onto its roof. Seeing this, Cassie tells Ania to grab the electric impulse machine from the back and place it on the roof. As soon as she does this, Sims gets badly electrocuted and falls off the ambulance. Cassie then drives the ambulance away. However, their ambulance soon stops under an underpass. At that moment, Cassie uses her future-seeing superpower and learns exactly what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. She recalls the words of her leader, that she can also change the future. With that thought, she uses the ambulance's radio to call for a helicopter, pretending it's a medical emergency, near a nearby building. Right now, they are close to a factory that manufactures firecrackers. Casey leads the 3 girls inside the factory and begins setting a trap for Sims. When Sims enters the factory in pursuit, he gets caught in the firecracker trap they've laid out. One after another, the firecrackers begin exploding, drawing his attention. Taking advantage of the distraction, Casey brings the girls up to the building's rooftop, where the helicopter is expected to arrive. She tries to safely get the 3 girls into the helicopter and escape. But to stop Casey's plan, Sims also arrives there. To distract him, Casey engages him in a fight, and they end up climbing a billboard tower. On top, Sims manages to grab Casey by the neck and begins injecting his toxic venom into her body. Casey is on the verge of death, struggling for her life. The 3 girls can't just watch her die, so they rush to her aid. But Sims easily overpowers the untrained girls and throws each one of them in different directions. His attack leaves all 3 girls trapped in separate spots, each dangerously close to death. Seeing this, Sims starts laughing and says to Casey, "Tell me now, how will you save all 3 of them when they're in different places at the same time?" At that moment, Casey recalls what her leader once told her, that when you truly want to save someone, you can exist in multiple places at once. Realizing this, she uses her superpowers and connects to the web of life, splitting herself into multiple versions to reach all 3 girls at once and save them. Seeing this, Sims grows increasingly frustrated. He throws a punch at one of the Caseys, but she isn't one to give up. Slowly, she leads Sims toward the very location where, in the future, she had seen his death. As they arrive at that spot, a large net falls on Sims, trapping him. Right after that, a massive billboard crashes down onto him, killing him instantly. Finally, Casey had saved the 3 girls and defeated their enemy. But tragedy struck. Due to the billboard collapse, Casey herself was injured and thrown into a body of water. We see a light emerging from her body as she begins to sink. The 3 girls, without hesitation, dive into the water to save her. They pull her out with great difficulty, only to find that she's no longer breathing. Using the CPR technique Casey had once taught them, they revive her. And after a few moments, her heart starts beating again. She's alive. But then comes another heartbreak. Casey can no longer see. She had gone blind. And not only that, the accident had left her paralyzed. At the hospital, when the authorities ask Casey about the girls, she simply says, "They are my family." Hearing that, all 3 girls smiled joyfully. This tragic incident may have left Casey paralyzed, but it had also fully awakened her powers. Back home, Casey tells the girls that even though she can't see anymore, she can now clearly see the future. She says she can see them fighting enemies together, becoming powerful beyond imagination, and never losing. She even shows them a glimpse of the future, where each of the 3 girls has superpowers, and Casey herself has become a medium through which power flows. With this glimpse into the future, the story comes to an end.